Greetings from Brooklyn. It's 26 degrees, November 13th, 2019, and we are officially sub-zero temperatures. We're no longer flirting with the freezing line. We are down below it, folks. And it was yesterday I was traveling, and I kind of like left the house. It was like 60 degrees in the morning, and then by the time I got on the train, I saw the weather forecast and looked at like, it's going to drop about 40 degrees today. So call went in to my lovely wife, Anne. Love you, sweetie. And look what she did. I said, sweetie, we got to get the herbs safe. Our goal is to have the herb garden safe for winter. That's our goal. And normally, she is a true supporter of the gardening, more emotional support than actual work. But I gotta say, wait and see what she did. First, she tried to get this through the door. This door is tricky. Can't open too easily, so I gotta figure that out now. But look what she did. She wrapped it up in this wonderful tarp, like a moving tarp, and get ready for it, a double layer of plastic. Net. I think these bad boys survived the first real frost here in Brooklyn. So yeah, the goal is for this winter, this episode is the winter herb garden. We cook a lot with mostly rosemary and thyme are the two big ones. I have mints. Who doesn't love like a mint julep or something like that? But we don't use those as often. We have parsley also, and no basil in here. I had basil out in another bed, but I think I'm going to try to get basil going because, it is the ultimate secret weapon for cooking. A fresh herb added to any ingredient just makes it so much better. And if we can have that November through April, how awesome would that be? So today's the first step on it. I'll post how we do. First mission is to get this bed, which isn't that big, in the house and figure out a spot for it. Success. The herb garden has been transferred indoors. Let's talk about why the herb garden first. We started growing herbs ourselves about 3 years ago when I started really getting into gardening. And I gotta say, it's a game changer in terms of how you prepare food and appreciate all the deliciousness that comes from having fresh herbs. When you go to the store and you get the fresh herbs out of the plastic container at Whole Foods or whatever your local store is, you're gonna pay like anything $5, maybe $7 on the high end. And hey, they're okay, but nothing beats like picking something fresh. Parsley. Nothing super special about it, but tasting it on its own, delicious. Mint. Again, not something you eat every day, or on its own, but fresh, you can eat it on its own. It's delicious. You add this to your meatballs, rosemary to your chicken, thyme to almost anything. Chicken, basically potatoes, almost any recipe. Chicken soup, terrific. It's going to amp your food and make it so much more delicious. Basically when we start harvesting our herb garden and we start getting from seed or starter plants, we'll start getting them as early as June and have them basically straight through November. It really amps up the whole cooking, whether you're barbecuing or doing anything in the kitchen. The thing I'm so stoked about is keeping that going. We do not have to pivot over this winter to going back to Whole Foods to the soulless and sad little packets of fresh herbs. We're going to keep it at home in the garden, thanks to saving these from the cold. Again, couldn't be easier to grow herbs too, because once you grow them, it is kind of like weeds. I actually equate to being very imperialistic. To take a page out of Star Wars, you basically plant something like parsley. It's kind of like the Empire. It's going to take over the galaxy of your garden box. Or mint. Mint is they're like stormtroopers. Those guys take over. I consider rosemary and thyme, they're more noble. They don't go crazy. They don't take over everything. But they are delicious, and they are the guiding force of goodness in the garden. Take advantage of them. Go easy on my Star Wars analogies in the comments below. And take advantage. Bring the herbs inside. Do not give up once the cold comes. You can do this.